All right. Looks like we are here, and I'm here today with the lovely Maria. You have got to pronounce your last name for me because for years
Sure.
people have said it two different ways, and I know that it gets butchered. So
It's
you are going
Bell.
to
It's
introduce yourself,
Bell.
Belle,
Yeah,
and you
Maria
get called
Bell.
Beal a lot.
The A is silent. Honey, I don't care what you call me. Just don't call me
Um,
late to dinner.
that's what I
You
thought.
call
I
me
have always said
Maria
Maria
Bell's
Bell.
fine.
But I wanted to just set the record straight and make
Yeah,
sure that people
yeah.
knew it's Bella. That's what I said.
It's
I've
Bell.
been saying that
Yeah.
for years, y'all. So, oh my God, I'm so excited. So, we were chatting a little bit before and just saying how, first of all, thank you for being here. This is, to me, it's surreal because it also feels like a full circle moment for me because this is the not the first time that you are heading to Vegas for this pageant. So take us back and tell everybody why this is so special and why this is so
Sure.
important, this particular title.
It's a pretty good story, I think. So in 1998, my husband and I, back when we had cable TV, we were flipping through the channels and we stumbled upon the end of Mrs. America. It was on PAX television at the time. Mrs. America used to be nationally televised.
I remember that.
And we see these women on stage who are all MRS. And I looked at my husband, I was like, there's a pageant for married ladies. And at the end of Mrs. America, they put the website in the credits and stated if you were interested in competing to go to this website, find your state, and then get in touch with the state director. Now, in 1999, you had to win your state to go to Mrs. America. That's what made Mrs. America so special. You could not pay your way to get there. You had to win your state. So I enter Mrs. Virginia, and I had no idea what I was doing, but I am a public speaker and I'm a fitness instructor. So I've been on a stage in front of people for 37 years at that point, not 37 years, but a long time.
Mhm.
And I was in great shape. I was in my 30s and very comfortable speaking to people, very comfortable being up on a stage. And I pulled a suit out of my closet from my corporate days. I think I took the big shoulder pads out. I found a gown in the mall. I wore black pumps with my blue beaded gown and big old star rhinestone earrings. They were fabulous.
90s.
And I got a bathing suit and I went up on that stage and I won interview and I won evening gown and I won onstage question and I won fitness. And it was the
Nice.
first time I'd ever done anything like that in my life. And I
Wow.
was just a little suburban soccer coach mom driving the SUV, schlepping my kids to soccer practice. Any after school activities they needed to go to, it was me. I was doing it. So I won Mrs. Virginia. And I wish I could bottle the feeling of what it felt like in the moment of realizing I won. Because
Wow.
the way they called it down, like with the first runner up, it took me a minute to realize I had won. I still have the
Mhm.
video. I still have the DVD.
Oh, we would love to see
And
that. We got it. Is it now? Is
we
it? Have you
oh
been able to put it like on? Yes, we have got to see that.
yes,
You
I
got to
will.
send me
Yeah,
that.
well, we don't even have a DVD player. I'll have to put it in the computer. So I found myself going to nationals, which was in Hawaii. I was in Hawaii
Wow.
for 10 days. And my roommate was Mrs. Alabama, and she was just so nice and so sweet. And she ended up getting first runner up, and she then ended up becoming Mrs. America because Mrs. America became Mrs. World, and she got bumped up. And I remember standing on that stage in Hawaii because it was all nationally televised, thinking, man, this is awesome. This is like the best thing ever.
Enter the
And
pageant
I
bug.
Yes, and I didn't make top 10. It was my second pageant. I didn't have a coach. Like people didn't get coaches back then. I didn't have a
Mhm.
professional makeup artist. Like it was just a different ball of wax back then. And so I didn't make top 10. And all these women are backstage and they're like crying because they didn't make top 10. And I'm walking around going, are you kidding me? I'm still Mrs. Virginia. Like I
Right.
just got to compete at Mrs. America, like just sitting in my gratitude, so happy that I had the experience. And then after that, I just competed. I've competed a lot. I've won a lot. I've been very successful in the pageant arena. I just love it. I have a good time. I don't take it too seriously. I mean, I've been
Mhm.
disappointed at times when I haven't won, been
Right.
disappointed, but at this point, I'm like, hey, I'm still doing it. And this is amazing that I'm still getting to be able to do this for all the different reasons. So last year, I reached out to, I've always been involved with Mrs. Virginia. I've been the choreographer, I've been on staff, and it's gone through a few hands. It's changed a few hands. And the director we have now has had it for a couple of years. And I reached out to him
Mhm.
last year and I said, hey, I would love to judge. I've never judged Mrs. Virginia. And I didn't
Right.
know anybody. So it was okay. Sometimes I know people and sometimes I've coached people, but last year I didn't know anyone. And he said, "Oh, I'd love to have you judge. Can you and your husband? Oh, sorry. Can you and your husband judge?" And I was like, "Well, my husband's never judged a pageant before, but I'll see if I can rope him into it." And so we
He's
we
been to so
went
many though.
to it. He's
He's been to so many.
oh, he has. And now that I'm going back to Mrs. American, he likes to give me advice and go, "Well, I am a pageant judge." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I created a monster." So last year we went. And I said to the director, Drew, I said, you know what? Next year I'm turning 60. I'm getting up on that stage again at 60 just to do it, just to do it, like just to send a message to everyone that, a 60-year-old can still put a bathing suit on and some high heels and walk across the stage.
Wow.
And never really thought about it after I said that to him last year. And he called me and he's like, you said you were going to compete again. And I was like, Drew, it's literally 2 weeks to the pageant. I am not competing. I haven't dieted. Well, not that I really diet, but
Right.
I had, I'd been on like a 3-month vacation at our vacation property down in Florida. I was like, I'm not ready. He's like, you're ready. Just, you're ready. So I signed up 2 weeks before the pageant, which was in May. I grabbed everything out of my closet. I didn't buy anything new. I did have a new gown that I was about to take to another pageant. Um, I just grabbed everything out of the closet and went and was just like so in the moment. I was so in the moment.
Wow.
I was just like, man, I'm just here having a good time. And I really enjoyed getting to know the women competing.
Mhm, mhm.
And we were backstage and they were tallying the scores. And I turned to one of the contestants, they're all much younger than me. And I turned to one of the contestants and I said, if I don't win this thing, it's all good because I know how much work is involved.
Right.
I
You'll
said
be
that
off the
this
hook
national
if you like,
this
if I
national
don't
pageant's a
win.
lot of work.
Right, 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 right. So you know what's interesting to me, and you speak on this, but you kind of speak on it. The first time you did the first Mrs. Virginia pageant, you're like, you know what? I'm just gonna do it, and what happens, happens. I'm just gonna have fun. And then you win. And it's almost like the same energy went into, you know what? I'm just gonna do it. Whatever happens, happens. This is fun. And then you win again. You
Right.
win again. That is probably in itself the lesson everybody needs to understand is that we don't take things too seriously. We allow God to kind of work through us, go with the flow. I'm very much a hippie when it comes to going with the flow. And you did just that. And now Mrs. Virginia American. Now, for people who don't understand, I know the difference because I actually interviewed Mrs. American a few years ago and we talked about this.
Okay.
But those that don't know the difference, because this hasn't always been the case, there hasn't always
That's
been
right.
a Mrs. American with the AN.
Right. And the first time I was Mrs. Virginia in 1999, that was it. It was just Mrs. Virginia. One rep from one state. And then the system added that the first runner up to Mrs. Virginia could be Mrs. Virginia American.
Hmm, hmm.
And then they added the Miss for America. So now there's 3 title holders that go. And it's
Right.
been really awesome because now I've got sister queens. So we're in a, text group chat
Oh,
and asking each other questions and getting ideas from each other. So it's been really nice to have a little team that I'm going with. But yeah, I was the first runner up to Bailey. I won interview and I won evening gown. And then I just dipped down a little bit in the swimsuit because I told Drew I wasn't ready for the swimsuit. I told him I
You,
wasn't ready.
you look
And
fabulous. You look fabulous. You look fabulous. But I know what you're saying. We haven't. We got to get our mind right. We got to get our mind right. We've had
yeah,
margaritas.
exactly. And so I was thrilled. I mean, when they called me Mrs. Virginia American, I was like, oh, I, I stood on the stage because this time around, my grandkids were in the audience.
Oh.
So, my kids were grown. I
Mm.
had my son's boyfriend who they just got engaged. They were in the audience. My other son, his wife, and their kids were in the audience. And then Mike was in the audience. My middle son and his wife were in Japan. But, this time was completely different because my kids weren't small.
Wow.
And I had my little grandkids out there, and they were screaming for me when I would come out on the stage, cheering me on. And the whole time I was on the stage, and because I'm Lolly, and Mike is Pop or Lollipop. And so I'd come out on the stage and I'd hear, "Go, Lolly." And I was out there modeling, and I was like, man, I don't care what happens. This is like the coolest feeling ever, just hearing them scream my name. And
Oh.
it was just like such an amazing moment for me to be up there. And so when they called me Mrs. Virginia American, I was like, are you kidding me? Okay, all right. Yeah, let's do this. So it was really nice to have that moment. And I'm just going to go and represent Virginia to the best of my ability. And I found out my roommate today is Hawaii, and I'm super
Wow.
excited about that. Yeah, she's really nice.
Wow.
So we're
Wow.
gonna have a
Wow.
we're gonna have a great time.
I'm excited for you. Like I said, when I first heard the news, I was just like, "What?" That's so just the whole, just imagine, had the owner who I know had who created this has since passed on, but put this into place. And now, so many women are able to kind of have what he wanted to be like that second chance. He said, if somebody wins, and this was to my understanding, if somebody is so good and so amazing that they're first runner up, and sometimes it's by a half a point, you know, that they
Yeah,
deserve to go to nationals and represent their state. And I thought, you know what? He got it. He got it. And, rest his soul, before he left, he made sure that that was a thing. So I know that
yeah.
he's just so proud right now. So about speaking of extraordinary things, so you have to tell us a little bit more about your platform. I call community initiative because they're one and the same, but more
Okay.
about it. Cause I love that, obviously us ladies, we ladies over 50 like to be represented. So yes. So more on that.
Sure. My platform is Ageless and Audacious, where age is just an evolution and not a limitation. And I focus on how we can age healthfully. And I do it with a three-prong approach. I'm an exercise physiologist with the American College of Sports Medicine. And I've been in the industry, the fitness and wellness industry, for 37 years. And what I have observed throughout my decades of teaching the elderly,
Mm.
I have I have put that information aside and developed this program where when you work on developing lean mass and keeping lean mass, and you work and develop on balance and keeping balance, and having spine lengthening, that we can age very healthfully and we don't have to be afraid to age. And my program is all about preventing us from becoming frail and still being able to have goals and
Mm.
work towards those goals. Um, because there is a statistic that shows, especially women between the ages of 45 and 62, unfortunately, the suicide rates go up for that age
Mm.
range. And when I heard that, I was very motivated to create this platform, because I went through my own bit of depression during COVID, which I think a lot of us did.
Right.
And I thought, they don't really know why that statistic is for women between 45 and 62, but I'm going to extrapolate, or I'm going to assume that it's probably from all these life changes that we're going
Hmm.
through at that age, right? Maybe hormonal, maybe we're seeing changes in our body. We're not as strong and as healthy as we used to be. Maybe our spouses are having health issues, or we're having health issues, or maybe our friends and family are moving away. So I thought, if I can take this platform and tell people that they have more autonomy than they think they do in aging healthfully and still have goals they can work on, I think that that could have a positive mental impact as well. And so I have my own mantra that I wake up every day and I say, what can I do today to make my life better? And
Mm.
I decide that I'm going to do something that's positive for my life, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, um, that will make me feel like at the end of the day that I did something to make myself healthier. So I put this platform together and it's been very well received. I'm traveling around Virginia, going into gyms. I'd like to get into some churches. I'd like to get into some community centers. I was on local TV last week. I was on WTVR. They've already reached back out to me and said, we'd love to have you come back and do it
Wow.
again. I just applied to become a TED Talk speaker through someone who saw me and they were like, this is something that you need to take into a TED Talk because it can be done like 30 minutes, 15, 30 minutes
Wow.
of really good information. Because you know what? We're all aging. And this
Mm-hmm.
is the first time we've been aging, right? I've never been this old ever in my life. And a lot
Right.
of people just don't know what's happening to their body as they age. They don't know they're losing lean mass and bone and balance and all of that stuff. But I can give them skills where they can go into aging healthfully and with strength.
I love that. And then it gives you like a sense, a sense of confidence because, let's face it, our generation, I mean, I'm sure maybe every generation, but I know when we were younger, getting older, people made it sound like it was a death sentence almost. We were raised thinking that I don't know about you, but I remember being a teenager thinking that women in their 40s were old. Like that's
Yep,
what I thought. I
yep,
just thought, and forget 50. Like I was like, that's just
yep.
you just will hang it up. You're you're done. And I just love the fact that you are addressing something that a whole generation we thought that life was, pretty much ending for us. We thought that we were at
Mm-hmm.
the beginning of the end is how we were taught. I was raised that way of thinking that old people, that was just it. You're going to retire,
Yeah.
you're just going to slowly fade away. And it's so far from the truth as you are showing everybody. And I just had to celebrate you. I said, you know what? We're going to show this. We're going to raise awareness. If nobody else sees it, I said, then Maria will know that I am here celebrating her,
Thank
cheering
you.
her on, because I am just 100% so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. I'm
Thank you.
proud of what you represent. For those of you that don't know, Maria and I actually we talked about that when we met. It was the first time we judged a pageant together. And it was about 26 years ago, and she was the reigning Mrs. Virginia back then, 1999. Yesterday, a couple weeks ago. And
Great.
you look fabulous. I'm
Thank
excited
you.
about your journey. I'm gonna follow it.
Thank
Now,
you.
will we be able to stream the pageant? I know it's
Mm-hmm.
not Fax is long gone.
Fax is long gone. Okay, I don't even have cable in my house. I haven't had cable in 12 years. Yeah, it will be streamed. They are charging for it. I don't know how much. And don't forget too, there is the Fabulous Face contest, and you can vote me into the top 15. It is $2.50 per vote.
Wonderful,
But
wonderful.
you can vote me in. I think I'm the oldest contestant.
Mm, mm,
I
mm, mm,
think I'm
mm.
the only woman in her 60s.
Okay.
And,
Boom, boom, boom.
it's really exciting because when I went the first time, there weren't any women in their 50s. The first time I went to Mrs. America, much less 60.
Right.
And now I think I think we have a handful of women in their 50s. And
Nice.
it just shows you that, that there's some technology now. We look, better than maybe our grandmothers did at 50 or 60.
Absolutely. God rest her soul.
There's
Yes.
hormone replacement. There's all sorts of good stuff that we have now. So it's I love the shift. I think it's a cool shift. And I just want to be a role model really to my granddaughter that she
Mm.
looks at her Lolly and says, look at my Lolly. She's still out there doing some stuff and getting it done.
I love it. I think it's wonderful. I'm going to post the information in our post, so how to show people how they can vote and be supportive, be
Thank you.
Team Maria. I'm very excited. I'm very excited to share and to follow the journey. And I'm gonna watch the live stream because I just have to. Um, I don't think I can be there, but I can definitely be watching the live stream wherever I am. So we'll put that
Great.
information in the show notes so people can, know how to support you and continue to follow your journey. And I think that's great. I think that's a wrap. And thank you so
Okay.
much again for joining me.
I'm going to
Thank
screenshot
you.
this real quick.
Wonderful. All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning. And as always, here's to you becoming the best version of you.